gone live. Hells yeah.
I should probably stop browsing Steam then.
Stop browsing what?
Browsing Steam.
Um.
Seeing what it decides to recommend to me today.
Anything interesting?
Well, you know, just like you decides to advertise a porn game because apparently that's popular.
Alright, here we go.
Well, I understand you're the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress in my courtroom?
A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to defense.
Ha, you're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes? I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency.
I am most grateful. Oh, damn. Hi. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English? It's Genevieve Brett's research. The Englishwoman's! After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical facility and borrowed this paper.
Wait, that's me. Oh yeah, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she?
So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh. No, of course not.
Special characteristics and cure and its effects on human subjects. Interesting.
Curare? What's that? I've never heard of that before.
Time's up. The prosecution demands its immediate removal of this female trespasser from this courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eyes over it. This is wonderful, thank you! Giselle's report has entered into the court record. Cool. Goodbye then, and good luck. I was a ghost.
You had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guests any longer.
Okay, let's take a look at what she just gave us. A report detailing the unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time in uni. A poison made from a bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America? I didn't know that stuff could be made like that, with bark. The hunters have used it since its ancient times to incapacitate their prey.
And it's this technically it would be the sap of the or resin from the bark.
Oh,
Is
okay.
what they're using.
Effect: the instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Out of entry, the above-mentioned effects occur when a poison enters the body through a wound, such as inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have applications as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Oof!
I read that already.
Oh fuck, I forgot her voice.
I ask the prosecution and the defense now, one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. No more to add, Your Excellency.
Brunosuke, we're out of options here. This is really our very last chance.
Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence.
That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett,
Yes, Your Excellency.
if you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have...
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realized it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is it? What is this new evidence that deems the court's attention?
That's fairly easy for a Phoenix Wright thing, to be fair. Oop, I meant to hit present.
Yes!
Miss Giselle's Brett. We understand you are studying under Dr. Wilson at Yumi University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison. Where are you going with this, counsel? Toxin known as Cure, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete and utter nonsense! You're right, you say? I've never heard of it.
You wouldn't have done. You would.
What do you mean?
That was a rough translation.
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Cure before for the one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
Oh, it doesn't exist? Correct, which means no matter what test the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify a Cure. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order. Order, order. Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report, authored by the visiting research student from England, Cure has long been used by the tribesmen of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. Seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Cure suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpersy. These aspirations are utter trumpersy. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing with pain, and no other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say that, Inspector?
Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain.
According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress. It's evidence that Curia was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all.
How terrible!
Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed.
But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death.
The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. Poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail.
Respiration?
In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. And for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly Curie poison.
Oof.
And your suggestion that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison.
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing, and what a happy tale for the defense.
Ahem, if I may.
All these fat.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work, and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not?
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry.
says the woman that's also from another island.
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. It's because it's in the glass that she took. Wait! What are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no cure? The bottle was clean? Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Concisely here in this grand venue, most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to be poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well,
I do.
I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Keeled. Come on, Ryosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains no poison.
No, it does. Look back at the evidence about the poison.
Nope. The hunters have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Affects instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. The above-mentioned effects occur when poison enters the body through a wound.
If it only reaches the bloodstream, such as a blowpipe dart. However, she drank it without it never encountered her blood, so she's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The guy had surgery in his mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
He has
Holy
a giant
crap.
hole where his he has a giant hole where a tooth should have been.
Oh my god, I completely forgot how fucking in detail Ace Attorney games are. Thank you, Andrew, for being smart. The culprit did put Curair poison in Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position.
You're serious?
Fool, are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw.
Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence. We have the court record somewhere. It has to be.
Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains the witness was able to consume this? Yeah, what words?
Words. The judge just goes, words, words, words.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
That's not a valid explanation.
No.
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Sasato's notes.
I concur. The report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the Permanent Section Council? Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to the riddle?
Forgot what it was labeled under. Excuse me. Special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this Curare poison. And it's left me curious about something.
Oh, counsel?
Well, it sounds as though
Indigenous.
indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So you've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use those laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat?
Yes, good point.
So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, counsel, no, that would be madness.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under specific characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense.
Yes, the mention of that particular detail seems a little strange to me, though. It all makes sense when you interpret what's writing. It all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poison effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research, you knew Curare's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... It's an actual fucking swan?
Well, Renosuke, it turns out you're an epic better lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me? A lawyer?
Jesus Christ, this thing's still going on. All this noise and touch.
Oh. Ah!
Whatever.
So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish?
Law?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, Curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
That's right.
Goodness gracious.
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order. Order in the court. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this Curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Oh. What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intent, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Hells yeah. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead.
Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, but you must provide compelling evidence. As we know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson have been killed in the Curare?
By the medical.
No.
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there's a fundamental and fatal difference between those two diners.
A fatal difference?
The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day.
So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this.
Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. What? What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! No!
Officer, what are you waiting for? Pick up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once.
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it'll soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle, or not.
No.
And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Of course, you're referring to this photographic friend, I presume, dear lady.
That's right.
The one with the fucking bullet hole in him.
And, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his hands back to me, or with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
No, you killed the victim that day, using Cure. And then, in order to frame Renosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professors dead in the chest with your own hidden gun. And in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Renosuke Naruhodo.
Okay, everyone in this courtroom watched her grab the bottle and say, "Oops, no more evidence," and then drop the bottle on purpose.
Yeah.
That should be proof enough.
This is the Ace Attorney games.
No, that's fair.
Stuff that would get you immediately arrested in court does not apply here.
Oh, well, you can't. Can you prove that the baby didn't fall out of the helicopter and stab him with a knife? No. Case closed. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her. But now, is she really gonna get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was so obscene.
Renosuke,
Yes?
we've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
What? What do you mean?
You've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So is there any clues left for us now? It must be in your head.
Use logic.
My head?
I mean, before your power opposition were the only thing you could really depend on.
Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head.
So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color and every smell.
What I saw, what I felt, every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's gotta be a clue.
I wonder what it could be.
Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue.
You're always something up your sleeve, don't you, Kunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence.
Alright, I can't wait. It's been I'm not gonna read that word. Me, for a while, that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is, could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere, the clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been. Are you serious?
I wonder what it could be.
Take that!
Inspector Hozonaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in a photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a splattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph. Every time it makes me laugh. And a relative position of everything there. The plate of steak. It is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite of the possessor, as you were. Jazeel Brett.
I beg your pardon?
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading up to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now.
Inspector? The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately.
Yes, sir. It's still got the steak on it? This was 3 days ago. That's gotta be rotted.
Sorry for that. That's you.
Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. The blood man. Show the court.
Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. Heckin' fucking. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Racist?
In this case, just be over with. God damn. I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
This sorry-looking say reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
The plate of the steak has been entered into the court record. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. No, we're gonna look at this damn steak. Is removed from the victim of the incident.
Bottom of it.
Examine the steak itself. The steak, alright.
What is that? Huh? What in the world is this?
Ooh,
Jesus Christ.
the old man's steak. The old man's coin. Oh, that's me. I think it's a Koban coin. The hallmark from the Hoei area, I believe.
No. I don't mean what is it. I mean, what is it doing there? Wait. Did you say it was a Hoei Koban?
Yes, and apart from meat, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable.
This is the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoei Koban.
I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of whatever this word is.
Bullen and Bolillion. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Give me the coin.
Certainly never expected find a precious coin in a thick cut of meat. And it's from Hoei era too. I think that we make. Wait, is it the same stuff?
No.
Really quite valuable.
It's well marinated in the juices as well. Look.
What are you thinking of eating it?
No. But the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's gonna be racing if I lift up meat and peer underneath for a prize.
I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Runosuke.
A Koban coin underneath this steak. There's only one logical explanation.
That's the sergeant's steak.
Yes. He grabbed the wrong damn plate.
Runosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel.
Huh?
Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what.
Believe in myself. Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. I just did that.
As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way. I presume any further
Examination.
examination of the evidence is this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defendant have any objection?
That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? Yes. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal a shocking truth.
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy assassination with the beefsteak.
It's
I want a
good.
fucking steak now.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I swear to God, if this becomes the fucking other trial again, all over again.
Was that trial just evidence after evidence pop-ups at the very end or something?
No, the one about the steak, about
Oh, that one.
just Jesus Christ, who the fuck gives a shit?
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that it with all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Counsel, for the defense, you will now clearly show the court what you've been alluding.
Bam. Oh.
What the? Yeah, this has been read.
Yeah. Come on. Wait. Guess we jumped the gun.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. Well marinated and enjoys as well. Look. Order steak. Pa, 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 pa. Okay, here we go.
You have to present it.
Oh, my fuck. I'm stupid.
Got it!
Goodness gracious, that's...
Go on.
What on earth? A Hoa arrow one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant the day in question, isn't it? Tell me, why is there an old koi seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
I fail how to see this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction. Yes, because everyone puts coins under meat when they're distracted.
Especially ones
Don't
from
be
different
afraid.
eras.
We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Hoa coin just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. Turns out to be irrelevant in this case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now.
He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency,
Yes, counsel.
a rare Hoa koban has just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyways.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here? The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of the coin if he can explain what's doing under the stake.
The owner?
Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban that was found underneath the beef steak is... Is it the old man or the general?
That's the old guy.
Who's hunting for a lost Hoei-era gold koban coin. Yep, that's him. Oh, present. Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner of Rasutai,
Kurakura.
Kurakura. Okay. Kura, as in my cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese are quite unfathomable.
Yes.
Oh, I read that in my actual voice. Whoops.
The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct?
Yes, Your Excellency.
I remember him saying that he was up to something with his koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for the treasure. Indeed, the Hoei Koban, my prized coin. This Hoei Koban? Do you mean to tell me?
No, please. Why would Kurokuda-san's koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? That makes no sense.
Which is why I'm asking to bring Kurokuda-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him.
Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this koban, we'll find that it's key element in this case. Oh my god, how big is this stand?
What's this about? What have I been called up again? Do you realize that it's dinner time for baby Adio? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from the courtroom myself, I became a ruined man and a worthless, withered antique.
Why would you allow a man to bring a knife into a court?
Nothing more I have to say. The sun has set on this Rasuter shop owner's existence.
I mean,
Be that isn't. Do it now, Adrian.
I was gonna say Kazuma has a sword.
That's fair.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Be that as it may, Kurokuda-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you... The knife is in the general's foot. Oh, yeah. Yes, that's it. The one, the very one, the exact one that it is. The
Resplendent.
splendiferous Hoei treasure that has my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day.
It can't be.
As I thought.
Young man, enlighten me. Enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where on earth was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere.
We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the meat juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it in on the purpose. In there on purpose. Somebody concealed my hoary treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an inconceivable thing.
Excuse me, could I say something? Yes, of course.
Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga.
I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation.
La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there had been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau.
Wicked crimes indeed.
We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you're sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief.
So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. That place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems.
I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid the Korokuda-san's Koban is all too clear.
What?
What? It's the general or the army guy.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter.
Let's look at this logically.
Was-
The only person that he was the old man was talking to was the general.
Yeah. Or the sergeant, I mean.
Yeah, the sergeant.
Yeah, he was talking to Satuso.
Yeah, I was just looking to check the ages. For no reason in particular. Obviously, it can only be you, Sergeant Izanoza. Izanoza.
What? How? How dare you, you monster?
Monster?
I stole that Kaban, did I? I'm the master thief of Locarnaval, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet. But it wasn't me. It was Audio. Audio was the mastermind behind all of this.
What?
You would push the blame of your You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It is you who's the monster, Sergeant Noza. Colonel.
Oh, shit.
Oh!
Oh dear.
I swear to God if the baby talks.
What?
Are you gonna read?
Alright. Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Isonosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages that the Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe?
Oh, we're gonna hear a sob story now.
I understand that the temporarily increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for low-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on a table for my son.
That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant?
The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time.
It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable.
And your target that day was the old man and his koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin in my pocket without any trouble at all. A variable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Bang.
Bang. Yes, when the professor was shot.
I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I'd the old coup. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that it would be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date.
But what about the blood? That's what this is all about.
That's the sergeant's steak, not the other
Ah,
one.
okay. So what I said earlier. I just like that he's just shaking, standing there. I like how animated this game is.
He's still shaking.
Yeah, it looks like he's just rearing up to sucker
probably
punch
gonna
the hell
punch
out of the
him.
guy.
What was I saying?
Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett.
Oh, of course, dear lady. Of course, how rude of us. I'm sure there is no need to detain you any longer at all.
Ow.
It will then be known that she is going to stay here for another 30 minutes. May the esteemed gentleman please be excused, Your Excellency.
Indeed. The thief of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it?
Well, oof.
And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification of the detail for detaining. Miss Brett, you are free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. He's about to sneeze.
Nosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming.
Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there's a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up.
In that case, just don't stand there thinking. Make your voice heard.
Sorry?
You can't think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Wait, Miss Brett! What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
student nonsense is this?
Well, what parting words are you talking about, Renosuke?
Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction.
You're going to need some evidence, Counsel.
It's bite marks. Okay.
And they still, currently they think this is Miss Brett's steak.
Okay, that makes sense.
These words are truly contradictory. Where in the evidence is to prove it?
It's gotta be the steak, right?
I think so.
Because we haven't, the game hasn't realized that, oh wait, this is the wrong steak.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Steak
think
that Miss Brett has been eating before the professor was killed? Yes, go on.
more accurately, Your Excellency. The steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed.
No, you're just splitting hairs.
Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural?
Unnatural? What on earth do you mean?
The fact that it's been 3 days and it's not even spoiled. It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edges where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett.
Notice what exactly, Counsel?
Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork.
She did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself.
Then take a good look at this steak, in particular the edges where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Ah!
Looks like Miss Brett has realized something.
So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife or fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. I always love cornered music.
What's your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry. Could it... Whatever you say, dear lady.
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer.
Of course, this will all be over in a blink of an eye. It will not be over.
I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic.
Of course, dear lady.
What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers?
Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She realized the catastrophic implication those teeth marks in the steak have for her.
Renosuke, do you know where you're going with this?
Of course not. I'm pulling this out of my ass. Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had been allegedly been eating with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seemed to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day.
I accept that these teeth marks on the steak are a little unnatural, as you put, Counsel. What exactly are you suggesting that tells us?
Everything, Your Excellency.
Everything?
Yes, I believe that that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to a conclusion. excuse
Conclusive.
me, amount to a conclusive evidence in this case. Nah, I had to burp, so I made it silent. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet.
What?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
That's absurd. The trial's run for several hours already. You're saying there's more evidence?
I mean, it's not wrong. I think, like, the first video was 2 hours, the next video was 1.5 hours, and we're already reaching the hour mark here.
I don't believe you.
I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case.
Very well. I have a feeling this will be. I have a feeling this will be my last request of defiance of the defense of this trial.
Would it be her with the glass? Because she has a glass in her bag? I don't...
No, it's the other stake.
I can't present a stake. I gotta present a person who holds the stake.
Who took the stake? Who took both stakes, I should say?
Ah, okay. It's just... In every fucking Ace Attorney game that I have played, every evidence has to be used somehow. We've never used the one with her purse and the glass inside. So that's why I keep trying to bring it up. It's gotta be used somehow. Okay. Come on, Saratono. Satoru. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous! No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this stake with the teeth marks.
Yes.
Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Kurokyuda-san's coin, he told us that he'd slipped under the steak.
You watched it, Cadet? I'm a superior officer.
Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake?
Attention. Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it.
In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
That makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Yes, the gentlewoman doesn't... Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal a coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire.
Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two stakes over.
You're all stupid. Mic drop. Everybody is being quiet.
You did switch the plates?
Wait, you did?
Well, after it happened,
Bang.
Alright. When I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my own eyes, that I panicked.
Okay, that explains why the blood mark wasn't there in the fucking photograph, because we would have seen it clear as day.
As I said, I immediately lifted my stick and hit the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet was here arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and trimming, I swished my stick with the one on the foreign lady's table.
What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing.
I was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable.
However, fear not, Prosecutor-san.
What now?
I swore on the brass buttons on my uniform. That is all I did, sir.
All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
So, if Sergeant knows to switch the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table.
Yes, that follows.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. Sergeant's. That to preserve the evidence, you had taken both. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
No, you're not wriggling your way out of this one. Out of this slum, lady.
I beg your pardon?
Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such probable for you now?
You're the one who decided it was a problem, not me.
The reason the defense the reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembered seeing.
Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest.
I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. Now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show us the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident.
Yes, sir! Sorry for keeping you. There's the blood! Here is the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look! Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate. It shows that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me.
In other words, it is impossible for Naruto-san to have shot the victim.
Ah!
It can't be.
In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. How many times have they made the damn prosecutor say it can't be?
Almost like this is an Ace Attorney game.
I'm sure everyone knows by now who the person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Outdone by a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no. Oh my god.
What the fuck is happening?
The one
Goose is
black
trying to fly
chicken.
away.
We all have our own little chicks. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time that you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time.
Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using cure air. As you summarized, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning.
So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water? Because curie is unheard of here in Japan.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain in the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment.
I plan to plan Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man.
I happen to know that the professor always carries a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of cure air in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt?
So I was right. There were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun, as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, bang. That's when you shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruto-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because, of course, you need to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun.
There's no wind in this courtroom. How the hell is your headband flowing?
Your anime.
So there you have it. That's the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency,
Yes.
I wonder, might I speak with you in private later?
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruto-san. I was a ghost.
It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement?
This can't be. Niketsu Ayuchi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student.
Better start getting used to tough opposition.
Narunosuke, Naruto.
Sasuke. What?
Sasuke.
Yes?
This insult to the Ayuchi family name will never be forgotten.
You become insight
Decided.
the aid council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that.
Why are you gonna draw your sword, Kazuma?
Pretty sure that was illegal. Yes, and still, the Ayuchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Old Japan will, I believe, go down in history as a sort of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned and accused you, Ryonosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case.
You okay, Troy?
Yeah, fine.
I thank you, Your Excellency.
Use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth in this is a modern mythology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to a wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. I know how to read. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. This is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi? Yes. After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn as you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget that to fulfill the mission imposed upon you.
Can you speak a little louder, Troy? You got soft a
And
little
do
bit.
not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you.
Sorry.
I understand, Your Excellency.
What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden?
Ah, never mind. As for you, Inosuke Naruto,
Yeah, oh, yes?
in you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruto,
It's cherry blossoms instead of confetti. He's still over there shocked.
the court is now adjourned.
Thank God. This court, the court case started at like noon, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think it started like a little bit before noon.
Yeah, so they were in there for 3 hours.
I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial.
Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma.
Ah. Nah, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So you owe me an extra large from the place on Yume University Street, don't forget.
Sukiyaki. I wonder who this is.
Oh, the
Oh.
girl.
Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruto-san's innocence.
Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, don't you?
Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Oh, yes, of course. Forgive me for the intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Sasato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba... I think you voiced this man, Andrew.
There you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruto, you did an excellent job.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh no, it's I who should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend.
Good friend? Oh, yes, you mentioned that before. It was, you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yumi University, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson.
Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital.
Oh, you work together?
I've never heard you mention that before.
Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Sogi. Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot.
I will. I'll learn all I can. I swear on the spirit of the Asogi clan.
You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you?
Of course I am. Japanese man katana is his soul. The blade shows me where I need to go. And it cuts down anything that's in my way.
Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes.
That reminds me, what happened to the woman? Did Giselle Brett up after all? After all, she's guilty of murder.
Yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but
She went off scot-free. Wait. Hold on, what did I do? Did I accidentally double-click? Oh yes, sir, it's not easy to tell you, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all.
she will be Japan in the very near future, or Shanghai.
What? Shanghai?
Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I am certain of that.
What? But why not? This might be the judge.
It's a matter of consular jurisdiction.
Oh. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then, who? Who's going to bring her to justice?
A British consular court will hear her case somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard.
But why a consular court?
Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past. Now that we've signed the friendship treaty.
Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right.
Then so long as this is not a serious incident of highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke the consular court just like that.
Oh. Can't they?
Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on.
So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan.
I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her.
I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously.
It's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 12th century. Or 20th century. Fucking hell, I cannot read. One day, I have no doubt that that woman will receive the judgment she deserves.
Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it.
Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink.
But Professor...
You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke is not a guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun.
In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about the details for now. To La Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor?
Of course, my carnival's food is second to none.
I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruto-san's release. Oh, yes, thank you.
I wonder if she's part of the Faye family, or are we gonna meet them in Japan?
You mean
We are in Japan.
we're in Japan, man?
I mean Britain.
So Giselle's Brett won't be tied here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. The other half of the waiting lobby. Kazuma.
Yes, Ryunosuke.
I just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today.
Ha ha ha. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? The defense was all on your own work.
Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world.
I'm not so sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help but thinking maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me.
What? Come on, be serious.
I helped you today. It was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it, for being a defense lawyer, I mean.
Oh, no, not me. All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you.
That's the point.
Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point?
Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is a lawyer needs in order to win?
Knowledge of the law?
No. The ability to believe.
To believe? To believe what?
The defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times.
Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it.
I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick in what you're defending. Stick in when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the court, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone else can do. It takes a special kind of person.
Believing in your client.
Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me.
Well,
You face seemingly hopeless situations time and time again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. In the end, you found it through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me.
Thanks, Kazuma.
There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me.
It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go.
Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory.
And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget.
Yes, that too. Alright.
So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Sasato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still.
Oof.
It was because it was because of the help and support of these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. It would change my life.
He's gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Oh no! No! Don't you fucking pull a first Phoenix Wright on me?
It's doing the exact same thing that it said with the first one, so it's it's giving obvious death flags here.
Oh fuck! You're so right. Okay.